Pakistan's restive Balochistan province has once again been thrust into the spotlight with a daring act of defiance by Baloch separatists. The recent hijacking of the Jaffar Express by the Baloch Liberation Army is a stark reminder of the deep-rooted insurgency gripping the region. While the Pakistani military claims to have successfully ended the crisis, the attack signals a growing resistance against Islamabad policies in Balochistan, where decades of repression, enforced disappearances, and economic exploitation continue to fuel the separatist movement. Balochistan, Pakistan's largest yet most neglected province, remains a battleground for an independent struggle. The Baloch Liberation Army, which has long accused the Pakistani state of treating the province as a colony, carried out its latest act of defiance by hijacking the Jaffar Express. The train carrying nearly 400 passengers had left Quetta, the provincial capital, when BLA fighters intercepted it near a series of tunnels approximately 160 kilometers away. Pakistani security forces launched a military operation, ultimately rescuing 346 passengers. Officials claim that all 33 attackers were killed in the operation. However, while Islamabad brands the Baloch insurgents as terrorists, experts argue that the state's own human rights record stands in stark contrast.
One thing you have to give to the Baloch freedom fighters, I think they have been extremely chivalrous even in their attacks. Unlike the Pakistan army, or even for that matter some of the Islamist groups who attack women, children, old people, people who are innocent, the Baloch are very, very particular about whom they hit, whom they attack. They can always be collateral damage, but they normally, there's been no case where they've been killing women and children, no case where they've been killing any elder person. So they have been very chivalrous in that count. I don't think anybody can say the same about the Pakistan army, which in its operations goes into the houses of the Baloch people, insults their women, beats up their children, catches hold of young men and even women, and arrests them without any legal process.
For decades, Islamabad has responded to the Baloch resistance with brute force. The military's notorious kill and dump policy operations have claimed the lives of thousands of Baloch students and activists. Many young men and women have been forcibly taken from their university hostels in Punjab, Sindh and Balochistan, never to be seen again. The bodies of those executed are often discarded in remote areas, serving as grim warnings to others.
Some cases has been responsible for the killing of young students. These are university-going students in Punjab or even in Balochistan or in Sindh. They are picked up from their hostels and tortured, sometimes released, sometimes they disappear forever, and other times they are killed in cold blood and their bodies are thrown to make an example of them. So we've not seen the Baloch do this. They have attacked who they call agents of the Pakistani state and whom they consider to be legitimate targets. That sometimes includes the Punjabis who are settlers in Balochistan, whom the Baloch consider to be agents of the Pakistan government.
Balochistan has witnessed at least 5 major separatist uprisings since Pakistan's formation in 1947. The latest insurgency, which began in the early 2000s, initially sought greater control over the province's resources. However, years of state repression pushed the movement towards demand for complete independence. The Baloch Liberation Army emerged in the late 1990s, led by Baloch Murray, the son of veteran nationalist leader Nawab Khair Bakhsh Murray. In recent years, the group has escalated its operations, carrying out over 150 attacks last year alone, culminating in this recent train hijacking.
The possibility that the Baloch might actually start executing all the hostages cannot be entirely written off. I think that is pretty much on the cards, in part because of the kind of anger there is in Balochistan among the Baloch rebel groups to the kind of high-handedness that the Pakistan Army and the kind of operations that the Pakistan Army has been conducting. Now, sometimes, these kind of threats are made that we will kill all the hostages if you don't, if you carry out any operation against us, or if you don't meet our demands. But this could also be seen as some kind of a negotiating stance, to get some kind of negotiations going to get whatever people you want to release. But also remember that operations like the one which is currently underway in this train case, these people who go into these kind of operations are ready to die.
Despite being rich in natural resources, Balochistan remains Pakistan's most impoverished region, home to around 15 million people. These resources generate billions in revenue for the federal government, yet the Baloch people see little benefit. Adding to local resentment is Gwadar, a major deep sea port central to the $62 billion China-Pakistan economic corridor. While Islamabad touts it as a game changer for Pakistan's economy, Baloch nationalists argue that the state exploits their land while sidelining their people, fueling the flames of insurgency. The Jaffar Express hijacking is just the latest chapter in Balochistan's long history of resistance. And as the conflict escalates, it remains to be seen whether Islamabad will continue its policy of suppression or finally address the grievances of a province long treated as an afterthought.